What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, that guy, my high, tuning back in for another reaction. This time we got another one of them audits. Okay, audit the audit. Shout out to the channel, audit the audit. You know what I'm saying? I just like saying the name. It's interesting. Anyways, let's give a big shout out to all of the members of the channel before we jump into this video. By audit the audit. All right, we got Epic Service, Jamal, Keith, Christy Poe, Funny Farm, Manly, Misty Summer, Sniper, Trey Ford, Tony, Driver Thoughts, Ryan Parks, Kara, Marie, Carrie, Mr. Pay It Forward, Happy Chick, Lynn Willow, Holla Girl, Taylor, Holla Boy, Marla, Diesel, Nick, Creative the Insane, Nicole, Aaron, Mama Dukes, Robin Lynn, Amy Jane Doe, Liz, Nugget, My Hood Life, and Gary Willis. Gang, gang, gang. I don't know why I said that so intently, but we did. Okay? All right. If y'all want to get a big shout out like the rest of the people that you just heard before you, think about hitting the join button like they did. You got 3 different options to choose from. You could be a high member, the highest member, or a high member, a really high member, or the highest member. Yeah, so think about doing that. You know, if none of that fits your fancy or your lifestyle and your budgets, it's okay. Subscribe, notification. It's free 99, baby. And you know what I'm saying? You don't got to worry about nothing at that point. Free 99 and up and come join us. You dig? Anyways, let's jump into this. I don't know why I went back. Let's jump into this video, man. Let's do this. Let's see what happens. This one's called Dashcam Saves Man from Corrupt Cop. And we got to put emphasis on the saves because it's all caps. So Dashcam saves man from Corrupt Cop. You dig? Okay, my bad for screaming at you, but let's go. My bad. I just had to get it out.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers First Amendment retaliation, handgun licenses, and firearm policies, and is brought to us by Clear Lake Community Watch's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On July 20th, 2022, Auditor Clear Lake Community Watch, who we will refer to as Mr. Clear Lake, drove past Deputy C. Vega of the Harris County Sheriff's Office as he was conducting a traffic stop in Seabrook, Texas. Mr. Clear Lake rolled down his window and yelled an anti-police sentiment, including a profanity at Deputy Vega as he drove by. Deputy Vega abandoned the traffic stop, got in his vehicle, made a U-turn, and began to follow Mr. Clear Lake. Mr. Clear Lake properly signaled and made a right turn, and Deputy Vega activated his lights to pull him over. Mr. Clear Lake immediately pulled into a gas station and stopped his vehicle.
Why do you pull me over?
I'll tell you that if you roll it down.
Why can't you tell me now?
Because the reason I pulled you over is you were yelling something from your car.
So what?
Huh?
So what? That's why you pulled me over, because I'm
Because
yelling?
I don't know if you need help or anything.
Oh, I don't need help.
So,
Thank you.
Okay, let me see your driver's license real quick.
I don't need help.
Deputy Vega claims that he...
Bruh. Yeah, I'm about to say, like, regardless if he was out there like, fuck the police. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the police. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has all the rights to, you know, be driving by and be like, fuck the police. You know what I mean? Like, your ego got hurt, cop. Your feelings got hurt, okay? That's all this was. There was nothing else to this traffic stop other than a bunch of hurt feelings.
pulled Mr. Clear Lake over because he yelled out the window.
Right.
Although he claimed that he was
feelings.
concerned about Mr. Clear Lake's well-being rather than offended by the content of his speech.
Fuck outta
The First
here.
Amendment prohibits government officials from taking retaliatory actions against an individual in
Right.
response to their protected expression. In the 2006
Facts.
case of Hartman versus Moore, the Supreme Court stated that,
Facts.
quote, official reprisal for protected speech offends the Constitution because it threatens to inhibit exercise of the protected right. And the law is settled that, as a general matter, the First Amendment prohibits government officials from subjecting an individual to retaliatory actions, including criminal prosecutions for speaking out. As the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Texas, explained in the 2002 case of Keenan versus Tejeda, to establish a First Amendment retaliation claim, a plaintiff must show that, quote, they were engaged in constitutionally protected activity, the defendant's actions caused them to suffer an injury that would chill a person of ordinary firmness from continuing to engage in that activity, and
What?
the defendant's adverse
That is
actions
such a
were
weird way that they
substantially
broke that
motivated
down.
against the plaintiff's exercise of constitutionally protected conduct. Here, it is nearly indisputable that Mr. Clearlake was engaged in protected activity,
Right,
as the
'cause
Supreme
he's
Court has
just talking
long
shit,
held
you
that
know?
profanity is protected speech under the First Amendment. And
Facts.
Deputy Vega admitted that he pulled over Mr. Clearlake because he yelled out the window.
Boom, so
However,
that was-
it is less clear.
So this is like a sealed case before the shit even got started. Like, The cop legitimately came up with some hurt feelings, as much as he was like, I just wanted to make sure that, you were in your right state of mind and blah, 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 blah. No, your feelings got fucking hurt and you had to have a good enough excuse to justify that damn traffic stop because you had no other reason to fucking pull him over. But aside from that, yeah, like, that was just such a weird way that they broke it down. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just such a weird interaction in general based on how they broke it down. But, like, it's pretty plain and simple. Like, the old boy did nothing wrong. We all know that. You could sit there and yell at a cop all you want and cuss his ass out all you want, as long as you're not making threats or anything like of that nature, right? Like trying to do bodily harm or threatening to do bodily harm or some shit like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. This whole interaction, you could tell right off the bat. We 3 minutes in, and it's like, oh, this cop his feelings was hurt. He thought he was about to go and hassle this guy and give him a hard time, and it probably didn't work out in this cop's favor.
Or whether
that's all there is
determined
to
that
that.
being subjected to a traffic stop that resulted in a warning and no citation or arrest would constitute, quote, an injury that would chill a person of ordinary firmness from continuing to engage in that activity. In the Keenan case, the Fifth Circuit held that this element was satisfied by 2 traffic stops involving an undercurrent of violence that resulted in a minor citation and a criminal charge. However, the court also recognized that, quote, some retaliatory actions, even if they actually have the effect of chilling the plaintiff's speech, are too trivial or minor to be actionable as a violation of the First Amendment. For instance, in the 2009 case of Benson versus McKinney, the U.S. District Court in the Western District of Louisiana, which is part of the Fifth Circuit, held that a traffic stop resulting in a citation for which there was probable cause was not a sufficient injury for a First Amendment retaliation claim when the plaintiff did not allege that the ticketing officer threatened him or that the traffic stop was otherwise effectuated in an intimidating manner. Based on this decision, the Western District of Louisiana noted in the 2012 case of Simmons versus City of Mamou that, quote, not all instances of detention by police would chill a person of ordinary firmness from continuing to engage in protected activity. Therefore, it is possible that a court could conclude that Mr. Clearlake cannot pursue a First Amendment retaliation claim, even though it is evident that Deputy Vega initiated the traffic stop for a retaliatory purpose.
Right, he
However,
legitimately
it is much
said it.
more likely that Mr. Clearlake...
You see what I'm saying? That's that shit where it's like on the surface, based on what we see, right? Like, we all see like, oh, okay, that cop was asshole. His feelings are hurt. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely a emotionally driven traffic stop, right? Like, we could see that. We could tell that. The cop admitted that. He admitted that this was like an emotionally driven traffic stop. Bro, I heard you yelling something. I wanted to make sure you was all right. Heard you talking that shit. Want to make sure you was good. You know what I mean? Like, he may not have directly said it, but we all, like, come on, bro. We can read between the lines. We're not stupid. We're not going to play the naive game here. But, bruh, come on. Like, you can tell me everything. You can tell me that this is an emotionally driven traffic stop, but you're telling me that there's laws in place that are written so vaguely and in such a way that you can justify that emotional ass traffic stop as not being an emotional ass traffic stop. See, that's what I be talking about with these damn rules and laws, bro. They're so, like, boom, in your face and make so much sense that they make no motherfucking sense at all, right? Like, they write it so it's like, you understand part of it, but you're not gonna ever understand the entirety of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's always a way to be like, yeah, we said that, but this other rule over here kind of coincides and makes the rest of that rule make no sense, so that you know what I'm saying? Like, so really this rule trumps that rule in this certain situation because of, circumstantial evidence and, things. Yeah. Get over it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel the government be playing us. Like, we just a bunch of hoes and shit. You know what I'm saying? They be like, we could be like, we go up to... Like, come on, the money ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing. You know what I'm saying? Come on, pimp. The math ain't mathing. I should have been off these whole streets a long time ago, all the money I gave you. The math ain't mathing. You know what I'm saying? And he just like, bitch, 2 + 2 = 5. And that's just what it's going to be. I ain't going to ever tell you anything anything less, anything different, anything more. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just giving us wrong information and making us believe it and shit. That's how I feel the government is to us. They are unruly, ignorant pimp that just thinks that we stupid and supposed to just go along with it because we a bunch of hoes. That's how I feel, bro. That's how I feel about these laws sometimes.
could succeed in a claim that Deputy Vega violated his Fourth
Bruh.
Amendment right by initiating a traffic stop without reasonable suspicion or probable cause.
Okay, can I see your driver's
Facts.
license?
What for?
You
You
did, though.
didn't use the turn signal when you made a turn.
Of course I did.
Let me see your driver's license.
You can hear the sound on the dash cam
Let
too.
me see your driver's license. You can just crack the window if that's what you want to do.
Nope.
It's already cracked.
I can't see that.
Well,
This thing.
it doesn't matter. Here.
He rolled it up a little more.
I don't wish to answer questions.
You have to let me know if there's a weapon in the car. Did you not take the class?
I did.
Did they tell you you have to tell them?
When you demand identification, I have to display this. That's what they told me in the class. That's what the law says.
If the officer wants to take the
And
weapon,
actually, if I don't display, there's really not much you can do because there is no penalty attached to that. I have to carry this if I'm carrying this.
are you carrying?
I don't answer questions.
I don't answer questions. This dude is slick as fuck. This is one of them situations where, like, I gotta commend the driver, bro. I don't give a fuck what Mr. Audit the Audit say. This motherfucker right here, he know his shit. Even if he might be slightly off, but I ain't seen a moment where this motherfucker been off. He just been keeping it real cool, calm, and collective. Like, boom, here you go. Boom, I got this. Boom, what do you want to say? What do you do? You know what I'm saying? He just hitting this motherfucker. He frustrating the shit out of this cop.
You got one on your hip. So what?
Mr. Clearlake, who is carrying a holstered firearm on his right hip, displays his driver's license and his license to carry when Deputy Vega asks for his identification,
Smart.
and then refuses to answer Deputy Vega's questions about if he has a handgun in the car. Under Section 46.02 of the Texas Penal Code, quote, a person commits an offense if the person intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly carries on or about his or her person a handgun in a motor vehicle that is owned by the person or under the person's control at any time in which the handgun is in plain view, unless the person is 21 years of age or older or is licensed to carry a handgun and the handgun is carried in a holster. As
There
of
you go.
September 1st, 2021,
And there you go.
Texas citizens who are not disqualified from carrying a handgun in a public place can do so without a license to carry, also known as an LTC.
Yeah.
However, individuals
That's that. I'm pretty sure there's two different types of concealed carry, right? There's the like open concealed carry where like you can have the like how cops do, right? Like it's the holster's right there. You know what I'm saying? It's very visible. You know that he's armed, right? But then I'm pretty sure there's some states they allow you to conceal carry without a license as long as the weapon is registered in your name, as long as it's yours and not anyone else. There's no bodies or nothing crazy, that's happened with this pistol in the past. There are some states that allow you to conceal carry without a license as long as the weapon is legally registered in your name.
who obtain a handgun license are subject to additional requirements when it comes to interactions with the police. Under Section 411.205 of the Texas Government Code, quote, if a license holder is carrying a handgun on or about the license holder's person when a peace officer demands that the license holder display identification, the license holder shall display both the license holder's driver's license and the license holder's handgun license. The statute
So you don't have to show the gun.
require the LTC holder to verbally affirm if they are carrying a firearm
So he knew
or
his
provide any
fucking shit.
additional information. By displaying both his driver's license and his LTC when Deputy Vega requested his identification, Mr.
That's
Clearlake
That's enough.
complied with this statute entirely and was not required to answer any of Deputy Vega's additional questions about whether there was a handgun in the car.
This dude know his shit. How the fuck does this dude know his laws? Because I swear, like, even if he is American, I don't think that he was born here because of his accent. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, land of the free. Motherfuckers can come from wherever the fuck they want. You know what I'm saying? The more the merrier. But how the fuck does this guy, who wasn't even, I'm going to just say, I don't think he was born here in the United States, know the laws better than most of us fucking Americans? God damn. That nigga, he is fucking, I've learned some shit from this nigga right here, goddamn.
No, you
Golly.
don't.
How do I know?
Because you can't smell my
I
breath?
can smell something coming
Oh,
out.
really?
Let's see. Let me do some field sobriety on
I
you.
don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, where are you coming from?
Huh?
Where are you coming from?
You saw me where I was coming
No,
from.
I just saw you driving down.
Are you done with this?
I'm done with that, yeah.
All right, cool.
Where are you coming from?
I don't answer questions. I've already told you. Let me know when I'm free to go. Also, what is your name?
Bruh.
Your name? Sheriff? That's your name?
Right
Sheriff?
above it, right there.
I'm not familiar with the English alphabet, sir.
Be on the ticket.
Okay, can I have an incident number, please? Oh, a ticket, okay.
Mr. Clearlake asks Deputy Vega for his name, and Deputy Vega
Wow.
refuses to provide it. Instead, he points at the name badge on his uniform and then tells Mr. Clearlake it will be on the ticket, after making a snide remark about his English skills. Policy
Wow,
302
come on,
of the
bro.
Harris
How you
County
gonna
Sheriff's
talk shit
Department
about the
Handbook, which
man's-
outlines the department's requirements for so-called professional conduct by deputies and other HCSO employees, creates a so-called duty to provide official identification. The policy states that, quote, all employees shall present their HCSO identification card when requested by
right.
a member of the public, when engaged in law enforcement activities, or when in uniform. Although Mr. Clearlake did not request Deputy Vega's identification card, he did ask for his name, and Deputy Vega's rude and mocking response certainly didn't comply with the spirit of this policy. However, it should be noted that citizens generally cannot seek legal recourse for even blatant violations of police department
Why,
policies
though?
unless the officer's actions also constituted a violation of statutory or constitutional law.
Do me a favor, while I have you here, okay? I don't want you exiting the vehicle because you have a weapon in the car.
Did I exit the vehicle?
I'm
Did
giving
I
you a heads
exit
up.
the vehicle?
I'm giving you a heads up.
Did I exit the vehicle? Hey, can I? You do have a dash cam, right? Very good. You
Very
can't
good.
just pull me over because I said the police. I hope you realize that, stupid. I'm sorry?
Do you have insurance on the vehicle?
Yeah,
Can you show it to me, please? It doesn't come back.
of course it comes back.
Not on my system, it doesn't. Also, it's not typical behavior for somebody to be yelling out of the vehicle.
Who cares?
Is that
Yeah,
anything
nigga, fuck out of here.
Is that your current address? 1622?
Is that a question?
Yes, sir. Is that your current
Do
address?
I answer questions?
Okay, I'll just assume that's incorrect then.
And why would you do that?
I'm asking you a simple question.
Did you read my address on the driver
It
license?
didn't have an address. It didn't
That-
have an apartment number on your driver's
Of course it
license.
does.
Let me see. Can you verify?
You've already seen it.
So
I've
many
already
lies,
complied with
passion
that
on
part.
fire.
Okay,
The little
okay, man.
fucking
Yeah, I say
text
that. I've never
down
met
there.
anybody quite like you that would yell at an officer doing their job. But
So,
you have a great
let
day.
me
There's no
understand.
warnings, no fines, no penalties.
May I ask you a question?
There's questions on there. There's the address.
Yeah, no, I have a question. Can you get your supervisor here, please? Is the stop over?
The stop is over. You may leave.
All right.
Please don't exit until I get out. Until I leave.
Well, you said the stop is over, right?
Please don't get out. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not getting out. I will.
Open the door. Let me get back to my car.
Okay, there is no need to draw your weapon, man. Are you drawing your weapon?
Get out of the car.
I didn't get out of the car. You told me that already.
Bruh, what the
Did I get out of the car?
fuck?
Go f- yourself. Yeah, right over there you can.
Right over there, you can.
After Deputy Vega informs Mr. Clearlake that
God
the traffic stop is
damn.
over, he orders Mr. Clearlake
Like,
to
this
stay.
okay. Even though Buddy knew all his laws, I will be like this. I will say this. I don't understand why he did it, right? Like, can he be like, fuck the police and whatever? Like, for sure. By all means. Why he did it, I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to kind of imagine there's probably more cops that are going to give you an emotional response to you saying fuck the police than ones who are going to just be like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's a lot more cops that are going to give you an emotional response like this than ones that are just going to be like, whatever, guy, and go about their day, right? So, I mean, you could have avoided this whole thing by just not saying fuck the police, just throw that out there, My rating so far for Buddy is like an A-, maybe even like a B+, because that one interaction, like the one like moment where you were like, fuck the police, like had you not did that, the rest of this wouldn't have transpired. So I got to give the cop a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because he wouldn't have had a emotional response to have to give you had you not said fuck the police. But
Mr.
you knew your
Clearlake
shit.
opens the door to his vehicle but does not make any attempts to exit. And in response, Deputy Vega draws his weapon. According to Policy 505 of the Harris County Sheriff Department Handbook on the Use and Discharge of Firearms, quote, the deputy's unsnapping of the holster and placing a hand on the service weapon is permitted when approaching a possibly dangerous situation. And, quote, firearms may be removed from the holster and readied for use in situations where it is anticipated they may be required. However, the policy also states that, quote, firearms shall not be displayed or pointed in a threatening or intimidating fashion unless it is objectively reasonable to believe deadly force is justified, or there is a substantial risk that the situation may may escalate to the point where deadly force would be justified. Firearms shall be secured and returned to their holsters as soon as practical when it is determined that deadly force will not be necessary. Another section of the policy requires deputies to, quote, exhaust all reasonable means of apprehension and control before resorting to the use of a firearm. Here, the footage does not show whether Deputy Vega simply held his weapon or if he displayed or pointed it in a threatening or intimidating fashion. But it is clear from Mr. Clearlake's reaction that he felt threatened. It is possible that Deputy Vega was acting within the authority granted to him in this policy by removing the firearm from the holster when Mr. Clearlake opened the vehicle door, because he seemed to anticipate that Mr. Clearlake might exit the vehicle with the firearm he was carrying. However, it is much more challenging to justify an intimidating display of the weapon, as it does not seem that it would have been objectively reasonable for Deputy Vega to believe that deadly force was justified, or even that there was a substantial risk that the situation could escalate to that point when Mr. Clearlake simply opened the door to his vehicle.
A warning? A warning? For what? Failed to signal with turn indicator within 100 feet.
Lies.
Threw the weapon on me. He drew the gun.
After the traffic stop, Mr. Clearlake filed a public records request with the Harris County Sheriff's Office for the footage of the stop from Deputy Vega's body camera and dash cam, as well as additional info about Deputy Vega. The department claimed that his request was, quote, vague and or overly broad, and sent a request for clarification to the wrong email address. Mr. Clearlake was not aware of this request until he went to the department in person in an attempt to obtain the documents. As of the date of writing this episode, Mr. Clearlake has not indicated that he has received any materials from the public records request. Mr. Clearlake has also indicated that he intends to file a complaint and a lawsuit. Overall, Deputy Vega gets an F for retaliating against Mr. Clearlake for exercising his First Amendment rights, initiating a traffic stop against him without reasonable suspicion, and unnecessarily brandishing his firearm. It is clear throughout the encounter that Deputy Vega was angry with Mr. Clearlake for the sentiment he shouted from his window, and mentions his speech several different times throughout the encounter. During the entire interaction, Deputy Vega seems to be looking for any excuse to take further action against Mr. Clearlake, and he goes on several fishing expeditions in an obvious attempt to obtain reasonable suspicion to search the vehicle or find some other justification to detain Mr. Clearlake for a longer time or arrest him. This traffic stop demonstrates why it is essential that police officers respect the First Amendment and refrain from allowing their egos to dictate their decision-making. Mr. Clearlake gets an A for refusing to answer any of Deputy Vega's questions, complying with the law while declining to provide any more information than was required, and for taking appropriate action after the traffic stop. Although he used aggressive language towards Deputy Vega, he was completely within his First Amendment rights to do so. And Mr. Clearlake demonstrated throughout the interaction that he was well versed in both his constitutional rights and his legal obligations as an LTC holder. I commend Mr. Clearlake for
this nigga do more. This is by far the most like impressive interaction I've seen by a civilian who wanted to challenge authority, right? Most of the people who challenge authority, like there's been some ones where it's like, man, they understood that something was wrong, but they didn't quite understand how. They couldn't really explain to you what the situation or what laws or statutes or constitutions were being broken. They just knew the situation was fucked up, right? And that's good to be able to identify when something is not right. But to be able to completely just shut the motherfucker down because you know the laws better than he did, basically. Like, buddy, the cop threw the laws out the window. Like, he was purely moving off of emotions at that point. And buddy kept calm, cool, and collected and just basically threw the law book at this nigga. Like, what the fuck?
A public records request, following through when the records were not provided, and pursuing a complaint and a lawsuit against Deputy Vega. And it will be interesting to see how his case fares in court. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you.
His ass will get some money, and they'll keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. That shit ain't about... Bro. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all thought about that down in the comments below. Do y'all agree with Audit the Audit and the grades that he gave both the cop and the civilian? I do and don't. Like I said, I think I would have gave the civilian more of like a B+, because I feel like regardless if he had the right to sit there and, you know, drive by and say fuck the police, you know, was it necessary? not sure that I can justify that being a necessary thing to do with your day. But hey, that's his prerogative. You know what I'm saying? That's his right. If that's how he felt and he was compelled to fucking say it, it is what it is. And the cop should have just respected that and kept it pushing, like I said. So the cop, you have to hold him to a higher standard because of his job and the oaths and everything else that he promised to uphold for the communities. So when you're moving off of emotions and abusing your power essentially because you can, I can't get behind that shit at all. There's not even a little bit of sentiment that I can give to him. Hold your shit together a little bit better, dog. But and then like I said, with the civilian, I can't be too mad at him because what he did was not illegal. He didn't break any laws saying fuck the police, right? There's shit. A lot of us feel the same way. So, but again, had he not did it, there would have been no interaction with the police to begin with. And that's just kind of where I lie with it. So yeah. The fact that he had to have the interaction, he handled that shit fucking like a boss. But we could have just avoided the interaction altogether too, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm all about just avoiding the fucking police altogether. So, yeah. Y'all let me know what you thought about that down in the comments below. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.